Hello everyone, this is the 11th day of becoming a billionaire, and I've been learning so fast. And now, what I have decided is that I will talk about vocabulary in the very beginning, and then I will talk about the laws of power, and then I will talk about political theory because you have to have the knowledge if you want to become a billionaire. You need to understand the political theories, political philosophies, and then I will move on to the Spanish part. So let's begin. So the first word is deceit. Deceit is when you try to make somebody believe something that is not true. Deceit is a dishonest behavior. The other word is injury. Injury is harming yourself or somebody else physically. The other word is insult. Insult is when you act or say something that is rude to others. The other word is naivety. Naivety is the state of being naive, a state where a person is inexperienced and lack sophistication. The other word is noble. Noble means having a honest image, having this care for other attitude, a person who is full of courage, and it can also represent a person who is from highest social class. So a person from highest social class is a noble person. The other word is objective. So what is objective? Objective is when you are not biased by your own personal experience or feelings. So when someone is not biased, when someone is not dependent on his experience or feeling while projecting out something, that is being objective. The other word is secrecy. So secrecy is when you try to be secret, when you try to keep something secret. The other word is persuasion. So persuasion is being convincing, trying to convince other to do something or make someone believe in something through your logic. And the other word, the last word, is straightforwardness. So what is straightforwardness? Straightforwardness means being direct, being transparent, being very honest in your actions and communications. And I told you all these words, and I'm going to use them while I will talk about the laws of power, so you will have a better understanding. So what did I learn from the 48 laws of power after reading? And what I learned is that honesty is a weapon. Honesty is a weapon, but it's a double-edged sword. What do I mean by that? So you have to understand that there are people who are supposedly non-players in front of the world, but they are very adept players. They are very smart. They are very cunning. Usually what happens is that a person uses deceit and secrecy as a main technique in order to gain power and control. But there are some adept players who are one step ahead. They use honesty as a weapon instead of using secrecy and deceit. And what do I mean by that? How can honesty be a weapon when honesty is the best policy, as we have all heard since our childhood? And the reason is very simple, guys. You project an image in front of the world that you are a very noble person, you are a very good-hearted person, a very kind person, a person who is filled with compassion, a person who is this selfless kind of a saint. But in actuality, these are the person who are very, very deceiving. They have this innate nature, they have this acquired sense of using knowledge in a way that can convince others, that can convince that these are a person of noble character. And when a person of noble character, when a person who is honest is seen by others, they cannot believe that this person is capable of deception or being cunning. So honesty is a double-edged sword. And what do I mean by that is that being honest is a risky game. If you are being honest, there's always a chance that you will hurt others, that you will injure others. You will not be able to make things very smooth. Because when you are honest, your words might become sometimes rude to others, and this can lead to problems. And what kind of problem will you get after being perfectly honest? Usually, people don't like the truth, and so they need sugarcoating. But an honest person very oftenly speaks in a way that is not acceptable by the person in front of them. And so, in return, what does the honest person get? Injury, hatred, hurt. And so, how do these people use honesty as a weapon? So, as I said in my previous video, that wolf in sheep's clothing. So, these persons are very deceiving, very deceitful, but they represent an image of honesty in front of the world. They are selfish within, but project that they are selfless outside. So it's a very effective and powerful strategy used by players who are in the game of power. But it's a form of persuasion and at the same time a subtle form of coercion where they use this forceful presentation of their honest image. If you understand this, then you will understand that a person who is being honest is not actually honest. It's a very it's a very thoughtful thing to understand because now you cannot believe what you see. You cannot believe what you hear because an honest person might be saying something, but he must be having some hidden motives, some hidden agendas in his words. And so the problem that many encounter is that when you start being honest, people cannot see it without some hidden objective, without your some hidden motivation or interest. And so using honesty while maintaining the deceitfulness is a very tough task. But when you get used to that, you can achieve things in a manner that no one can comprehend. It's a very subtle game. It's a game where nobody gets to know what you are doing and therefore they cannot resist, they cannot resent you, they cannot hate you. You know, but you let them see that you don't know. It's very effective. Now, coming on to the political theory. So why political theory as a billionaire? What you have to understand here is that when you are trying to become extraordinary with people who have this elite education, who had all the time in the world to read, who had all the time in the world to give discussion, to be in the discussion, that have the surrounding of educated people where they are talking about political theories. And so in order to be in the company of elite, you have to have the knowledge that they have. And therefore, we will start with the political theory. So what you have to understand here is that as a human being, we live in a society. And society has many institutions like family, school, religious organization, polity, etc., etc., etc. And these institutions have some specific purpose. And so these institutions have a specific purpose, and that's why they will need some organization and authority. So what is authority? Now we have come down to what is authority. So authority is a relationship of command and obedience, and that command has to be reasonable. So then what is political? If you come to think about it, then you will understand that polity is an organization where decisions are taken, where rules are made for the whole community. That is polity. It's a character of polity. And political is something that is related to polity, that is public, as distinguished from private or something applicable to a limited number of people. And therefore, Sheldon Sanford Woolen, in his Politics and Vision 1960, has beautifully summarized the characteristic of political as follow. Of all the authoritative institutions in society, the political arrangement has been singled out as uniquely concerned with what is common with the whole community. Certain functions such as national defense, internal order, dispensation of justice, economic regulation has been declared as the primary responsibility of political institution, largely on the ground that the interest and ends served by these functions were beneficial to all of the members of the community. And so we have understood what there is in political theory. So you have to understand that in order for you to become an elite, in order for you to become a noble person, you have to have this knowledge of high class society. Coming on to what I have learned in Spanish. So I've learned about how you say dates in Spanish, and it goes like this. So it's like 22nd April. So when you say 22nd April in Spanish, it becomes the 22nd of April. So how do you say that? It goes like el 22 de abril. El 22 de abril. How do you say 3rd March? So it becomes el 3 de marzo. El 3 de marzo. But there is an exception, that is 1st January. So how do you say 1st January? El primero de enero. El primero de enero. And the other thing that I have learned is how to use verb. And so with yo, that is I, goes soy. I am, yo soy. You are, tú eres. He is. When you say he is, it becomes él es. Él es. She is. Ella es. And when you talk about someone respectful and you are talking to in the second person, you, so it becomes usted es. Usted es. And when you talk about in plural, we, it becomes nosotros somos. We are, nosotros somos. And when you talk about you all, like you are talking to friends, you all, it becomes vosotros sois. Vosotros sois. And then when you are talking about they, as you are talking to a group of men, it becomes ellos. Ellos son. When you're talking about they as female, it becomes ellas son. Ellos, ellas. So ellas son. And when you talk about you all as a respectful you all, it becomes ustedes son. Ustedes son. So now we have learned all this, and make sure to like and subscribe. I will continue my journey, keep on learning and keep on letting you know what I've been learning. So make sure to like and subscribe, and see you all.